Woodrow Wilson was a leader of the progressive movement. He was the 28th President of the United States from 1913 to 1921. Wilson led America into war in order to make the world safe for democracy. He was born in Virginia in 1856 and graduated from Princeton and the University of Virginia Law School. Wilson earned his doctorate at Johns Hopkins University in 1885. He married Ellen Louise Axon. His national reputation was growing, causing some Democrats to consider him presidential timber. He actually had to be persuaded to even run for governor of New Jersey in 1910. Wilson was nominated for president at the 1912 Democratic Convention and campaigned on a program called the New Freedom. The New Freedom program stressed individualism and states' rights. In the three-way election, he received only 42% of the popular vote. In 1914, antitrust legislation established a federal commission to prevent unfair business practices. Another legislation followed in 1916. The new law stopped/banned child labor. Another one limited rail workers to an 8-hour day. A slogan were made saying, "He kept us out of war." It was a close call, but Wilson won re-election. After the election, Wilson said that America could not remain neutral in the World War. On April 2, 1917, he asked Congress for a declaration of war on Germany. After the Germans signed the armistice in November 1918, Wilson went to Paris to try to build an enduring peace. His father, Joseph Ruggles Wilson, was a Presbyterian minister, and his mother, Janet Woodrow Wilson, was a minister's daughter and originally from England. During the American Civil War, Wilson's father served as a chaplain in the Confederate Army and used his church as a hospital for injured Confederate troops. Wilson, even though he had a career as an academic and university president before entering politics, did not learn to read until he was 10 because he had dyslexia. Wilson was the last American president to travel to his inauguration ceremony in a horse-drawn carriage. When Wilson came back from Europe in the summer of 1919, he came across opposition to the Versailles Treaty from isolation Republicans in Congress who feared the League could limit America's autonomy and draw the country into another war. On September 25th, on a train going back to Kansas, Wilson collapsed from mental and physical stress. On October 2nd, he suffered a stroke that left him partially paralyzed. The Senate voted on the Treaty of Versailles first in November 1919 and again in March 1920. Both times failed, and the treaty defeat was partly blamed on Wilson's refusal to compromise with the Republicans. In December 1920, Wilson received the 1919 Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts to include the Covenant of the League of the Nations in the Treaty of Versailles. On January 17, 1920, the 18th Amendment banning the manufacture, sale, and the transportation of alcohol went into effect. This happened even though the year prior, Wilson vetoed the National Prohibition Act, designed to enforce the 18th Amendment. His veto was overridden by Congress during the time that Wilson was president. American women gained the right to vote because of the 19th Amendment. After leaving office in March 1921, Woodrow Wilson resided in Washington, D.C. He and a partner established a law firm, but poor health stopped him from doing any serious work. Wilson died at his home on February 3, 1924, at the age of 67.